Okay, welcome to the deep dive. Today we are cutting through the noise to look at something really fundamental for anyone moving goods across state lines here in the U.S.
Hmm.
We're talking about interstate trucking compliance and specifically a piece of paper, non-negotiable, the BOC3 form.
That's exactly right. We've been, digging into the details, and the message that keeps coming back is clear.
Yeah,
Success in trucking, it isn't just about keeping your wheels turning, not at all.
great.
It's really built on this foundation of being, well, legally ready. And the BOC3, it's a critical part of that base.
Exactly. So this deep dive, it's all about understanding why this particular form required by the FMCSA for operating across state lines, why it's often called the backbone of interstate trucking compliance.
Yeah.
And the plain truth really is if you don't have this form on file, you have no operating authority. It's really that essential for, legal readiness and just basic business stability.
So let's maybe break it down then. What exactly is this BOC3? The full name is Blanket of Coverage. It's a specific compliance filing, and it's mandated by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration.
And for anyone maybe less familiar, the FMCSA, that's the federal agency overseeing trucking, safety, operations, all that stuff in the U.S.
Precisely. And who needs this filing? Well, basically, any company involved in interstate commerce related to trucking. So that definitely includes motor carriers that's, you running the trucks, but also freight forwarders and brokers too.
Oh, interesting. So if you're just arranging the movement of freight, maybe you don't even own the truck, this still applies.
Correct. Yes. And the absolute key point here is this must be on file before you can legally operate across state lines.
Right.
Not after you start, not maybe later before. It's a prerequisite.
Okay, now here's where it gets kind of interesting, I think. The core purpose of the BOC3 is designating something called process agents. What exactly is their role? What do they do?
Okay, think of process agents like this.
Yeah.
They're your company's official legal stand-in in different states. They are authorized representatives, and their main job, really their sole job, is receiving legal documents on your company's behalf.
Legal documents, what kind are we talking about here? Like lawsuits, government notices, that sort of thing.
Exactly that. Lawsuits, yeah, government notices, court summons, basically anything official that needs to be legally served. They act as your designated point of contact in that state for these types of important matters.
And you need one of these agents designated in. Is it every single U.S. state you operate in?
That is the requirement, yes. Every state. And the huge benefit, the reason for this, is it ensures your business is always reachable for legal purposes, even if you don't have a physical office, building or facility in that specific state.
Okay.
It closes that potential legal gap.
That makes sense. And this kind of brings us to why the BOC3 isn't just, another piece of bureaucratic paper to file away. Why does it matter so much beyond just ticking a compliance box?
Well, it's pretty fundamental. It's about legal accountability, for one, operational transparency, too. And crucially, ensuring your business can just continue running smoothly. If legal papers can't physically find you, you can't respond, right?
Right. Leads to big problems.
And that leads to major, major problems,
Yeah.
default judgments, things like that.
And it really, like you said, it can't be stressed enough. No BOC3 equals no operating authority. Full stop.
Yeah. Non-negotiable for legal interstate operations.
It really is.
So, okay, this naturally leads to the practical question. How do you actually file this thing? The process itself, look, it isn't overly complicated, but getting it right, getting it accurate, that's crucial to avoid delays or worse.
Right. You definitely don't want rejections or fines messing things up. So let's walk through the steps involved. Step 1 seems to be all about choosing your agent.
Correct. You basically have two main options here. Option 1,
Yeah.
designate an individual registered process agent in each and every state you plan to operate.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It can be, which is why option 2 is much more common and frankly simpler. Hire what's called a blanket process agent.
Okay, a blanket agent. So they cover multiple states. Or all of them.
Yes, typically they cover the entire nation. The FMCSA actually maintains a list of these approved blanket agents. And honestly, opting for one with nationwide coverage that means all 50 states plus Washington, D.C.,
Yeah.
it really centralizes your management, makes things much easier.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's like having one point person instead of potentially 50 different ones you have to keep track of.
That makes a lot of sense for streamlining things. Okay, so what's step 2 once you've picked your agent?
Step 2 is gathering all your essential company information. Pretty straightforward stuff, but vital. You'll need your legal business name, your U.S. DOT and MC numbers, and your primary business address.
And just a quick note on those numbers, the USDOT number, that's your unique identifier with the Department of Transportation, right? And the MC number is your motor carrier operating authority number from the FMCSA itself.
Exactly right. They are basically how the government identifies you specifically. And here's a critical point. The information you provide for the BOC3 must precisely match what the FMCSA already has on file for your company.
Ah, okay.
Any discrepancies, even small ones, they cause delays. They'll kick it back.
Precision is key then. All right, step 3 involves the actual filing. How does that work?
This is important. Generally, only a registered process agent, the one you just chose, is actually authorized to submit the BOC3 form electronically to the FMCSA on your behalf.
So you can't just fill it out and send it in yourself, usually?
Not typically for motor carriers, no. Now, there's a slight technicality for brokers or freight forwarders where self-filing might be possible.
But the recommendation is still use a professional agent.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%. Avoiding potential errors, rejections, it's just well worth using an agent who does this all the time. Let him handle the electronic submission.
Makes sense. So the final step then is confirming the filing and, crucially, keeping really good records.
Yes. Once the agent files it, the BOC3 becomes part of your public record with the FMCSA. So what you need to do is get a copy of the filing confirmation from your agent.
Okay.
Then it's a good idea to verify it yourself. You can go onto the FMCSA website, look up your own company record, make sure it shows up correctly there,
Good tip.
and then store all this documentation, the filing, the confirmation securely.
Both digital and maybe printed copies?
Yeah, both is smart. These records are absolutely vital. They're your proof of compliance if you ever get audited or, face any kind of legal scrutiny down the road.
It really sounds like choosing the right process agent is, well, it's more than just picking a name off a list. They really are kind of a quiet but critical partner in keeping you compliant.
They absolutely are. I mean, think about it. Their responsiveness, or lack thereof, could literally make or break your ability to respond properly to a legal challenge. So, yeah, choosing wisely is key.
So what should you look for then in a good agent?
Well, first, as we kind of touched on, nationwide coverage is usually the way to go. A blanket agent just simplifies things immensely compared to juggling individual agents state by state.
Right. Less admin headache.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Second, they must be on the official FMCSA-approved registry. No exceptions. Don't compromise on that one. Check the list.
Okay. And responsiveness seems critical too.
Hugely. They need to be available during normal business hours, obviously. And when they receive something important, like a legal notice, they need to forward it to you immediately, without any delay.
Speed matters there.
Immensely. Reputation also counts. Look for an agent with, strong industry credibility, a good track record, maybe some reviews or testimonials showing reliable service.
Makes sense.
And finally, be really clear on their fees. Ideally, you want someone with transparent pricing. Often it's a simple annual flat fee. Just watch out for any hidden charges or extra costs.
Yeah, the warning seems pretty strong here. An inattentive agent, one who maybe misses forwarding legal papers on time, that could be incredibly costly. Could lead to default judgments, missed deadlines. Serious stuff.
Very serious. Choosing carefully isn't just, good practice. It's essential risk management for your business.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned this isn't just a one-and-done filing. Staying compliant, staying audit-ready, it requires ongoing attention.
Right. That's such a critical point, especially for busy operators. Compliance isn't static. It changes. So how do you keep that BOC3 active and correct over time?
Yeah, what's involved?
Well, first, you need to update it immediately if anything significant changes with your business. We're talking to change in your legal structure, maybe your business name, your primary address.
Or if you switch agents.
Or if you switch process agents, exactly. Any of those trigger the need for a new BOC3 filing. You have to refile.
Okay. And what about the agent themselves? You need to kind of monitor them too.
You really do. Don't just file it and forget it. Your compliance is directly tied to their status and their responsiveness. What if, say, your agent goes out of business or just becomes unresponsive?
You might not know until there's a problem.
Exactly. You wouldn't know until it's potentially too late. So doing proactive checks, maybe annually, just confirming they're still active and your contact info with them is current, that's smart.
Good advice.
And keep those records organized and updated. Your copies of the filing, any correspondence with your agent that's the proof you'll need during an audit or if questions arise, keep it accessible.
And finally, maybe it's helpful to just build this into your regular operational routines.
That's a great way to think about it. Add a quick review of your BOC3 status and your agent's contact information to your existing compliance checklists. Especially important when your business is growing or maybe you're expanding operations into new states. Just make it part of the routine.
Yeah. When we step back and look at the bigger picture here, the BOC3 really feels like far more than just some mandatory filing. It seems like almost a cornerstone for your legal readiness and just overall business stability.
It really is. It underpins several really critical business functions when you think about it.
Like, for instance, just securing and then maintaining your legal operating authority in the first place.
Yep.
Can't operate without it.
Exactly. And it enables you to confidently expand into new markets, knowing you won't hit immediate compliance roadblocks related to legal service.
It's also a key element, it seems, in helping you stay ahead of potential legal risks and liability issues, just being reachable.
Definitely. And it ensures you can respond quickly, appropriately, if and when legal actions or government notices actually come your way, you get the notice promptly.
Plus, just having this properly in order, doesn't it help build trust and credibility with the shippers you work with, brokers, other partners, shows you're buttoned up?
Absolutely. Sends a signal that you're professional, you take compliance seriously. It's kind of like that essential document that just sits quietly in the background, doing its job most of the time.
Right.
But when you suddenly need it, maybe because a legal issue pops up, having it correctly in place prevents what could easily spiral into a complete operational nightmare.
Yeah, you can see how that could happen. So really, building on a solid foundation of compliance, starting with these fundamental things like the BOC3, it gives your trucking business the legal right and also the stability it needs to actually grow, compete, and, succeed interstate.
It really reinforces a few key actions for anyone listening who's in the industry. You got to take this filing seriously.
Yeah.
Choose your process agent with care, wisely. Maintain organized, accessible records. And make compliance, including this, a regular routine part of how you actually operate your business day to day.
Being proactive about it, staying informed, being audit ready. It essentially turns this seemingly simple form, the BOC3, into a really sturdy foundation, something you can build your entire trucking enterprise upon.
So to kind of bring this deep dive to a close, the main takeaway is the BOC3 is just this critical, often kind of unseen piece of the whole puzzle, but it absolutely enables legal interstate trucking operations. Can't happen without it.
Yeah, and by making sure it's handled correctly right from the start and then maintained diligently over time, you ensure this vital, quiet document just does its job effectively there in the background.
Right.
And that ultimately frees you up, right? Frees you up to focus on what you really need to do, moving freight, building your future, and driving your success forward.
Well said. So maybe here's something, a final thought for you to consider as we wrap up. How vital is it really to the smooth running of your operation to ensure that your silent partners, like a process agent who's there just to receive legal documents for you, are just as reliable and responsive as, say, the critical maintenance you perform on your actual trucks?
That's a great comparison.
Yeah, think about that balance, you know. Legal readiness versus vehicle readiness. They're both pretty critical to avoiding major disruptions, aren't they?